Hello friends. Initially, the line of engines was represented by 4-cylinder atmospherics with a volume of 2.0 liters 131 horsepower and 2.4 liters 138 horsepower, as well as a 6-cylinder V6 2.7 liter 172 horsepower. The first two are representatives of the Sirius series, and the largest is Delta. Sirius units are a copy of Mitsubishi engines of the Sirius series of the same name. The 2.0-liter G4JP is the equivalent of the 4G63, while the 2.4-liter J4JS is the 4G64, offered only in the US market. Both motors have a belt-type timing drive and hydraulic valve lifters. Since mid-2006, the 2-liter Sirius has been replaced by the new Beta 2 G4GC with a return of 137 horsepower. There are few fundamental differences. The balancing shafts and hydraulic lifters have disappeared. Valve clearance is adjusted using washers. The timing belt only drives the exhaust camshaft, which is connected to the intake by a short chain. Instead of rubber engine mounts, hydraulic ones began to be used. Motors of the Delta G6BA series are the result of a deep modernization of the Mitsubishi Cyclone 6G7 engine. The timing drive here is also of a combined type, a belt on the intake camshafts, which are connected to the exhaust chain. The valve clearance is adjusted using hydraulic tappets. One of the common problems of all units is a broken timing belt. The consequences are trivial. At best, the valves are bent. At worst, damage to the blockhead, pistons, and scuffing in the cylinders. Many owners of the Sonata found themselves in an unpleasant situation without waiting for the scheduled 60,000 kilometers. Reasons: high loads on the drive elements and low-quality components. There is only one way out: replacing the toothed belt every 40 to 50,000 kilometers. The camshaft drive chain is much more durable. It serves more than 250 to 300,000 kilometers. It is worth noting that replacing the timing belt on Sirius engines requires some experience. Due to the presence of balancing shafts, it is more difficult to correctly set marks. The error leads to a drop in traction and the occurrence of vibrations. All power units are quite hardy. The need for major repairs arises only with the most unfortunate consequences of a broken timing belt. In other cases, the engines calmly take care of more than 300 to 400,000 kilometers. In cars with Beta series engines and a manual transmission, stalling, jerking, or dips when switching are often observed. The cardinal solution for versions with ABS is to cut a certain wire in the ABS harness responsible for transmitting information about a sign of movement. Another option is to remove the spring valve from the clutch slave cylinder. In cars with the old Sirius, this bug also occurs, although less often. There are no magic solutions here. Attention should be paid to the idle speed control or throttle position sensor. It is also possible to get rid of the disease after flashing the engine ECU. Oil consumption may increase after 150,000 kilometers due to hardening of the valve stem seals. After some time, the gaskets in the spark plug wells and under the valve cover may leak. After 200,000 kilometers, the occurrence of piston rings is possible. The starter may fail after 150 to 200,000 kilometers due to wear of the retractor or brushes. By this time, the engine mounts will need to be replaced. Vibrations, hydraulic lifters, except for Beta, and ignition coils appear. Closer to 200,000 kilometers, the radiator may leak, or the electric fans will fail. Soon, the catalyst also becomes unusable. The engines were paired with a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic. The mechanical box is quite reliable, however, with high mileage, sometimes it becomes necessary to repair due to wear on the differential gears and bearings. The clutch of mechanical boxes paired with 2.0-liter engines runs more than 120 to 180,000 kilometers. Clutch boxes operating with a 2.7-liter V6 have a shorter life. It is better to replace the slipping clutch immediately, otherwise premature wear of the dual-mass flywheel is inevitable. Mechanics recommend installing an analog from Santa Fe instead of a faulty flywheel. It is more reliable. The machine was developed by Mitsubishi and has the designation F4A42. Under normal operating conditions and regular oil changes, the box is quite capable of driving 300,000 kilometers without repair. However, in practice, serious malfunctions occur after 200,000 kilometers. It is necessary to change the valve body or eliminate the consequences of the destruction of the differential. Paired with a 2.4-liter engine, an automatic transmission was installed, which differed in gear ratios. If it fails, it can be replaced with an analog from cars with a 2.0 series engine. Suspension settings are biased towards comfort. The steering wheel is light and uninformative, and the reactions to the rotation of the steering wheel are restrained. With active taxiing, the stern begins to float, but passengers practically do not notice the seams and road patches. The front axle uses double wishbones, while the rear axle uses a multi-link scheme with steering effect. Silent blocks of the front levers go more than 120 to 160,000 kilometers. The silent block of the rear upper arm is surrendered after 80 to 120,000 kilometers. The ball bearings of the front lower levers will last the same amount of time, and the upper ones 150 to 200,000 kilometers. The design of the lower levers provides for the replacement of the ball. The top support changes only with the lever. Shock absorbers remain operational up to 100 to 150,000 kilometers. Rear wheel bearings wear out after 100,000 kilometers, and front ones after 150,000 kilometers. If the front hubs allow you to get rid of the replacement of the bearing, then the rear ones change only as an assembly. External CV joints fail after 100 to 150,000 kilometers. The steering rack can knock or leak after 80 to 100,000 kilometers. The power steering pump sometimes starts to make noise or leak closer to 200,000 kilometers. Problems with ABS can occur due to a broken toothed ring. It changes in assembly with the CV joint. The body iron is not prone to corrosion. Red spots are found after 9 to 10 years on the wheel arches, sills, or bottom of the doors. Sometimes corrosion actively attacks the cups of the front shock absorbers. In cars from 2004 to 2005, assembled at Tagaz, paint swelling is sometimes found on the front doors. This is through corrosion that develops under the lining on the inside of the door. Later, the overlay was removed, and the problem does not arise. Water in the trunk appears due to leaky tail light seals. The heater radiator can leak after 100 to 120,000 kilometers. Then there are also problems with the supply fan. It starts to thresh at maximum speed. The culprit is a burned out thermostat. The fan itself wears out after 200,000 kilometers. Problems with the air conditioning system are observed after 150,000 kilometers. The air conditioner radiator loses its tightness, the electromagnetic clutch or the compressor itself fails. After 40 to 100,000 kilometers, a leak of a fuel tank filled to more than half is sometimes detected. It's all about the deterioration of the patency of the adsorber valve or the tubes connecting it to the tank. Vacuum leads to deformation and cracking of the flimsy tank, more often in the upper right corner. After 100 to 150,000 kilometers, the fuel pump loses its effectiveness. After 150 to 200,000 kilometers, the wiper drive mechanism often turns sour. The wipers begin to work intermittently, jam, and an unpleasant creak appears. The mechanism can be revived by thoroughly cleaning and lubricating. The generator may require attention after 150 to 200,000 kilometers. The voltage regulator fails, bearings and brushes wear out. Bad mass causes the coolant temperature reading to fluctuate, and when you turn on the headlights or the air conditioner, the arrow eerily creeps up. The solution is simple. Install an additional ground wire between the motor and the body. If you know of other model malfunctions, be sure to write about it.